So are these 12,000 or more illegals going to end up in your backyard? Let's ask the guy who hosts Unfiltered, Dan Bongino. Dan, what surprised you most about yesterday? His series of interviews he did on all the Sunday shows?
I'm not. The guy's the DHS secretary. Like, what's your job? You're a TV host, right? You come in. Oh, I see what you. I'm watching you. You're reading the prompter. You're doing your thing. Imagine if you showed up. It's a live show at 7 p.m. and you're like, look at him. Nah, not tonight, fellas. Like, I'm not going to do this. You had one job, right? To show up and host a show tonight, correct?
You got to show up on time.
You got to show up, right? They get upset in the live show. Right? Imagine being the DHS secretary. What's your title? You are the secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. That's your thing. That's your title. And then they ask you during an interview on Fox, they say, hey, Mr. Secretary, how many people you think entered the country? You know, the Homeland, I think the Homeland, that's the Homeland and Homeland Security. I don't know if you knew that, but that's what that's about, the Homeland and Homeland Security. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. Could be 10, maybe 12, could be 20. Like, wait, really? And then they say, oh, no, don't worry. The people we're giving these notice to appears, only a small percentage don't show up. Yeah, maybe the small percentage not showing up are the bad guys, and that's the reason they're not showing up.
Dan, there's a couple of reasons for this. They're great at rounding off numbers. Remember, we left just about 10% of people, Americans, behind and allies in Afghanistan. We get 90% out. There's just about 100 left behind. And no matter how many we fly out, there's just about 100 left behind. They like rounding off. How about this? 1.5 million plus. That's how many have come across our border. So today, getting ready for the show, I flipped around to see what everyone's saying about immigration. They're all complaining. You know what the Democrats are saying? How dare he fly 2,000 to Haiti? They should be allowed to come here. You know what the Republicans say? How dare he not fly them all back to Haiti, where they came from? So what does President Biden do?
Here's why I'm not optimistic, and I hate to say that because I generally am a relatively optimistic guy, but I'm more of a realist. This is not going to get any better. If Biden gets smoked, I mean crushed, annihilated in the midterms, right? And say 40, 45 seats switch hands, then he's not running again. I mean, he's barely going to make it through this term, right? He's not there right now, right? So he's going to say, screw it. I'm just going to double down. And then if Biden does do well in the midterms, I don't think is even possible at this point, then he says, look, the American people approve of my agenda. I don't have any good news for everyone other than the fact that when we get a Republican in charge who's responsible, everybody who entered the country illegally is going to have to come back home and is going to have to resubmit and do it the right way. And listen, for all the lefties out there, I know you watch the show. I don't want to hear your crap. Don't text me. I delete you. I block losers anyway. I am married to a legal immigrant who went through the... Why are you laughing? This is true.
Because I just feel like there's three people in the room. You talk directly to the camera.
I know, because I'm kind of like...
You have the relationship.
I know. I love that. Listen, I've been here, like, kind of mess around. But listen, I'm married to a legal immigrant who did the hard work, raised the right hand, pledged allegiance. And I got to tell you, that citizenship ceremony I went to in Baltimore, Maryland, at the federal courthouse with all these people from around the court hugging their relatives, with my wife included, was one of the most special days of my life. So I don't want to hear your garbage or your crap. There's a right way to come to the United States, and I'm sorry, this is not it.
Well, I think you're right, but I'm going to give you some hope. And here's the hope. If you saw how well President Trump did in Texas, in Hispanic districts, when he was tough on immigration, and if you think Democrats want to win elections, you're absolutely right. If they think this is the formula to winning the Hispanic vote, which they thought, and so did Republicans thought, oh, my goodness, don't talk tough on the border. The Hispanic community will run from us. That was wrong. So they will continue to lose that vote when they realize
we have time left? Because I want to comment on this. Can I go? This is important. It's an important point you just made. It's not just your point is correct. The Texas border towns, yes, Trump had an explosion of support, but it wasn't just there. Brian, he had historic support in the Bronx. Up here, we're not far from the Bronx, just a couple miles up north, right? He had support. I looked at this article. He had support in Orlando with the Puerto Rican community in Florida. Hispanic voters,
Cubans through the roof.
Talking to Hispanic voters like they're a bunch of automaton robots who all support lawbreaking. How is that not the most racist thing you could possibly do? These are American citizens who work hard.
And if you had any doubt that that message got through to the Democrats, why is Cesar Chavez's bust in the Oval Office? They want to send a message, we're not abandoning you, but I think they're getting a different message by what's happening. Dan, I think you really enjoyed this.
I did. I was actually a little tired before I came on here.
I got you going.
But you got me all amped up, you see?
Good luck trying to get some rest.